And go. I'm not going to stop.
Harvey Doorway, that's a great TV show. Oh, yeah. No, it's just another day in the RV doorway.
Just another day in the RV doorway.
Everyone in this film is kind of like on scene stealing mode. It's going to be an interesting, interesting thing to watch.
Seriously.
I love that I'm able to do this movie, and the reason is because of the abundance of talent. It's absolutely insane.
You know, I have my friends like Greg and Kristen and Joe, and then to have Simon and Nick, oh my gosh, this is going to be best summer ever.
It was like getting invited to a cool party. You know, you definitely want to wear a good outfit and don't get yourself kicked out before it's over. So that's why I'm hanging out back here in the back, behind the spaceship.
Jason, that was a great job. Just snap. That's a proper James Finlayson silence.
Well, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost play Graham and Clive. They wrote this movie, and I've been a fan of theirs since Spaced. I thought Spaced was just fantastic. That was like one of those shows that, you know, friends brought in when, you know, it was a bootleg from the UK, and we had never heard of it, and then we watched it, and it was like someone made a show about me and my friends. You know, and Greg had told me, like, hey, I might do the next Simon Pegg, Nick Frost movie. I was like, oh my gosh, I will be an extra in that movie. However I can get into that movie, man, you know.
Can I sign your lens like Roger Federer?
They're really great guys, too. We became fast friends, and we have a lot of similar interests. You know, there's no ego involved with them. They're great writers, and I think any good movie starts with that.
It's actually a really well-positioned piece of drama because we take a very likable character, even though he's a bad guy, and kill him. And it just says at that point in the film, all right, it's serious.
It's serious, yeah.
It's like things,
no more jokes.
People are going to die now,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah. And it's kind of, I think he's exactly the right character.
Unless he falls into the basement a la Frankenstein and survives.
If you have an idea, they're so open to it, and they're there, and they're so nice and British. It's a good feeling to come back, and they're sitting in Video Village going like, oh, man, that was great. You know.
These guys, Simon and Ned, Nick, it's Nick? They seem great. I think they're an improv troupe from northern Florida, is what somebody told me, and I don't know why they've written these guys as British, I guess, which is kind of fresh. I don't know if their accents are going to be convincing, but there's a process you can go through afterwards. You can re-record voices and stuff like that. One of them's got kind of more of an Australian, and the other one's a little bit more South African, I think.
And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the musical stylings of Miss Kristen Wiig.
Coming everybody.
Moon pizza.
How did it go? That's so anticlimactic. Dip it in the chop, put it on a plate. Just make sure that it's not late. To my moon pizza party that I'm having with all my friends. I did not know you had arrived.
That was adding to my amusement, to be honest.
Kristen Wiig is utterly blown me away on this film. I think she's one of the most remarkable actresses I've ever met. You know, particularly comedically, she's extraordinary and beguiling, and I follow her around like a puppy the whole time because she makes me laugh so much.
Hi.
There are bits that she makes funny that were never intended to be funny in some respects. It's just, you know, she manages to instill every line with something.
Can we just do it right here?
Yes, we can.
Just this, my place is a real cocksucking mess. I got shit and kids and...
Got it.
We've had her saying all sorts of ridiculous... I think we had her say hairy love eggs today, which was hard to get to do. I begged her to say fuzzy sex plums, but she wouldn't, because she said it sounded too English, so you're probably right.
Oh, how romantic. A pipe fire. A scary pipe fire.
Now, what is Kristen's
Can I sit right here?
Hey, Kristen. This is Kristen. Sit a bit forward.
I didn't know Kristen's work particularly. I knew her from scene-stealing cameos she'd done in Knocked Up and Ghost Town and Walk Hard or whatever, but I didn't realize until I started downloading clips of her on Saturday Night Live that she's so versatile and so funny. When her name came up, we had a good feeling about her because everyone said how great she was, but we didn't really know her, so it was one of the best gambles we've ever taken, and I can honestly say I'm smitten with her. I think she's amazing. It's been a real pleasure to work with you on this film, and I just want you to have this to remember me by.
Sorry.
As a little token of my affection for you and just what you've meant to me and generally the film, so thank you.
I can't. And look at that.
It's got a little...
Oh, I know.
She knows. I'd like to have it.
I've really enjoyed working with you.
I'm going to wrap it up for you.
No. Okay. That middle one's really long.
This is coming.
Oh. I'll take this.
Okay, I'll take this back.
That was sweet.
Jason Bateman is just terrific as Zoil, who's the head of the government program that Paul has been involved in throughout these years.
He's so effortlessly good, Jason. There's a naturalism and a rhythm to his delivery which is just unique, I think. I think he's a brilliant, brilliant actor, and one of the few actors in the whole of the industry that can play comic and straight at the same time.
Here we go. Next up, people, a reminder, have your book out, your question loaded. You will not need that pen. Put that away.
When we were casting the film, I was very determined that Zoil would be played by someone who would be threatening and who you would take seriously, and the other creative forces in the process were sort of saying, no, it has to be somebody funny, it has to be a comedy person. And I got quite angry about it, and I was saying, well, no, the threat's not going to be real if it's somebody goofing around. And then Jason's name came up, and I kind of went, oh, okay. Because he has that, he can bring the funny at the same time as being a very credible threat, And it's nice to see him playing a bit of a slightly more, a bad guy, seemingly. And he's just great. I could watch Jason act forever.
I was focusing on this one.
Oh, see.
Pun intended. So I'm gonna change it. Watch this.
All right, here we go.
Gang, buckle up. I don't really try to complicate what I do with a whole lot of technique or preparation. I try to keep it real, which is, fancy talk for lazy. But I don't think they know. I don't think they know. I think they're pretty pleased with what I'm doing. So, shh. Suck on that.
Now for your viewing pleasure, here's some classic Latrugs.
Joe Latrulio, the lovely Joe Latrulio. Joe Latrulio and Bill Hader play kind of like FBI type agent partners.
Clint, Bronson, Connery, after every gunshot they do this.
Joe Latruglio, I've been a fan of since The State. Like, I saw The State when I was in high school, and I was like, what is this? And so I was very excited that when Greg said Joe Latruglio is playing O'Reilly and all your scenes are with him, that was a blast.
He's fabulous as O'Reilly, and once we started talking about Joe and Bill Hader playing Haggard and O'Reilly, the notion of their physicality and just both being actors that I really like, getting Joe was great.
He's such an amazing performer. Joe is so gifted at improvising and kind of coming up with bits.
Okay, did they talk funny?
Real funny.
They talked like that asshole judge on American Idol?
Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
And he has such an amazing energy to him that I'm learning the best thing to do is to stay out of his way. Because, if you're in a scene with Joe, people are watching Joe, including you.
Oh shit, dude, you have lice. I know I have lice. I'm just letting you know. I appreciate it. Because it could be a... Sorry about all this.
The two actors that are playing these guys are very funny, Bill Hader and Joe Latrulio, but they themselves are, triple dumb. I'm not a fan of that kind of casting. You should cast actors that can play dumb instead of, it costs you time and it's not safe sometimes. There's some stunts involved. But we're getting through it, and I think we're pretty much on schedule, and no one's gotten hurt so far, so it's good.
It's me. Number 6 on the call sheet.
Bill Hader's like a wind-up toy. He'll just go and go and go and go and go.
Oh boy, I hope I don't fuck this one up. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh, here's my big chance. Oh boy.
Bill Hader is just incredibly funny, a very, very gifted actor and, you know, performer. Edgar had introduced me to him, and I'd sort of had stuff I'd seen him. Obviously, he's been in loads of movies. Bill does hyper really, really well. He does sort of exasperated brilliantly. He's done some hilarious stuff when Haggard's desperately trying to be a sort of badass and is just screaming like a girl because he can't fire his gun properly.
Give him to me. Give me the fucking alien!
Get your own.
Give him to me! You wanna fucking die? That's been a lot of fun to play, kind of starting off, you know, as kind of a young, like, doing a lot of this, you know, we're in the big leagues now kind of guy. And then as the movie goes along, I kind of lose my mind and go completely evil.
Blythe Danner, good
Hi.
to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Blythe Danner.
Yes, yes.
How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'll get dinner.
Blythe Danner playing Tara, she's just exquisite, and I'm so lucky that I'm working with her.
You know, she's very beautiful, Blythe, but she can also play that slightly distracted very, very well. She's an extraordinary actress, you know. When we went to her, I was so happy that she said yes.
I thought it was hilarious and wonderful and not the thing that I'm normally cast in, so I was delighted to be asked to do it.
She's really one of the gang, Blythe. She genuinely is. When me and Kristen and Nick and Joe are just out messing around on set, she really joins in.
We are one.
We are one.
The first day she was on set, she did the big speech to Paul about, you know, I've just stopped believing in you. And Joe was tearing up and stuff, and we were just like, wow, you know, we're in the presence of someone, you know, of a great, and she is.
Ready and action.
Moses Buggs is Ruth's dad, played by John Carroll Lynch, who is, you know, I mean, I always hesitate to say, but he's like a proper actor. It's like, you know, all us sort of comedy people are just, sometimes feel like we're just playing at acting, and, you know, it's like, wow, real actors. But John is particularly...
You know, when we started this, I knew that there was going to be, it was a very physical character, and a lot of what happens is physical. There's a lot of action, but not necessarily a lot of dialogue.
Set and action.
I described the character's movements as a cross between Jason Robards in 1,000 Acres and a silverbacked ape. I get a lot of parts with the word lumber in it. I don't know why. I'm actually quite light on my feet.
I mean, Moses originally in the script was like a mega fatty. He was like that sort of blob on a bed. He didn't really take off after them. It was just a really weird scene with this sort of huge bed-bound guy. But we decided it would be more interesting if he was actually becomes part of the chase.
Ruth! Ruth! Ruth, get back here!
John did that so well. His run is great. I really love the way Moses runs.
You want to do it? Pictures up. Ready. And let's roll, please.
Well, what do you know? Small world.
We have had Sigourney Weaver on set, on this very set. She just came down and just fucking aced it. It was absolutely amazing. She was very beautiful and tall, and it felt like we had royalty on set, really.
Voice originally was a male character, just because, you know, it kind of probably misogynistically on mine and Nick's part just assumed it would be a guy. And we were halfway through the writing process, and this notion came up of it being a woman. And immediately, as soon as we kind of floated this idea, we both almost simultaneously looked at each other and I went, Sigourney Weaver. She's a formidable sort of presence, you know, she's tall and she's beautiful, but she also has thematic relevance. You know, she was in one of the most famous science fiction franchises of all time, and so her connection to the notion of aliens was a lovely bonus.
Simon and I both really love doing our own stunts and fighting on camera and doing as much physical stuff as we can, as much as they'll let us do. And fortunately, you know, I think Simon and Kristen and Blythe
got the real meat of the fight. I was kind of pushed aside.
Right, so
Step aside, nerd.
Nice. That worked. Let's just keep doing it.
Wait a minute. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Wait.
right, that thing. Yeah.
Womp.
Yeah, that's right.
Slow motion, slow motion, slow motion. We went for it. It was good. I mean, we were laughing about it before, but when we actually did the fight, I was like, you know, the idea of being beaten up by Sigourney Weaver was attractive to me anyway, in a sort of perverse, masochistic way. That's frightening. Oh, don't.
I've had a crush on her since I was really young. I never told her this. But, like, I remember, you know, I wrote a poem about her at university once. I hope she doesn't watch this. It was amazing to watch Sigourney Weaver lifting her dress so she could kick Simon in the face. And, you know, in Simon Pegg fashion, he went for it very much. She was so up for punching me and hitting me. I don't know if I should be happy about that.
Leave him alone! Ow! Too early. Sorry. I'm like, leave him alone.
I think Kristen's about 5'6", 5'7", and I think Sigourney must be 6 or 6'1". So it took a few attempts to jump on Sigourney's back.
Good. I jumped so high though.
I was actually fairly surprised about the amount that we all did together before the stunt doubles came in.
Oh. Get up. And then I lay down like this.
yeah, and it's almost as if
Yeah,
you're a step or two behind.
You can give me a line reading. I welcome line readings. I get to knock out Sigourney Weaver, who I'd worked with before in the theater. She played my younger sister in Streetcar Named Desire. It was Blanche, and she was Stella. So it was great to have that reunion again. And all of that stuff is so much fun. And again, so rare that I get a chance to do anything like that. Oh, that's the way. Get away from me, you bitch! I know.
He gave me one take. I said I would like to do it again.
Do it for
You
me.
nailed it, though, to be honest.
Get away from her, you bitch! Get away from me, you bitch! Get away from me, you bitch! Get away from her, you bitch.
Oh, she's coming to protect me.
Yeah. I'll be all right. I'll go. I'm glad I was lying down, to be honest.
There were a few times just before take, she kind of does that thing that she just looks at you and just stares at you and doesn't break your gaze, and then you're forced to kind of look away or look down or readjust or do something. But I kind of looking at her thinking, that is Sigourney Weaver. 9 years ago, I was serving chimichangas in a fucking restaurant, and now I'm standing opposite Sigourney Weaver. And it was really funny to work with her and find her to be so lovely. I wrote her an email afterwards just saying, it's really nice when you meet someone and they're the person you hoped they'd be, and she genuinely was.
It's not a nice space page.
The main thing about working on this film for me is the amount of fun people have. Everyone's always happy, everyone's having a great time. It's, for me, it's been one of the best films for that. I've loved it, and I hope it continues to be that way. Just ask the guys.
Honestly, all joking aside, I'm very, very pleased to just have a part in this ensemble that they've built. It's really a bunch of actors that I really admire and filmmakers that I really enjoy, and so it's nice to be a part of sort of a classy team, you know.
It was wonderful just to observe that camaraderie and to be included and to be a part of it.
They're so imaginative and so improv-based. Jason is so tremendously dry, and Kristen's really imaginative.
Take a lot of pills.
I look forward to coming to work because I get to hang out with these people, and they make me laugh, and I have a huge affection for them. And that's the best you can hope for in a job, really, is to enjoy the company of the people you work with. And that's certainly the case here.
It's great to work with all of them because they're so silly off camera as well, and it really helps being silly on camera.
I feel so lucky with this cast. It's been unbelievably fun. Everyone's so nice.
And we're all kind of speak the same language. We're all geeks, you know what I mean? So we all get the movie references. We're all kind of over in the corner saying like, oh yeah, it's like that thing in Jaws where like, you know.
I want to work with these people again, and I want them, you know, I want to see them socially. I want them to be my friends.
Living our dream.
So, hey kids, you want to be in the motion pictures?
Great health benefits. Snacks are good.
that was the best costume of everyone here. Because you made it, didn't you?
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
Thank you.
My name's Nancy.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm Nancy Steiner. I'm the costume designer on Paul. And we're trying to be contemporary. It's not, you know, a fashion movie by any means, so it's really just what you think the character would wear. Well, they're, you know, comic book geeks. I think they're very proud of their comic book and sci-fi t-shirts. And I just felt like they were the type of guys that, you know, pretty much wore the same jeans every day, wear the same shirt for days in a row. They're on a trip. I did a bunch of research and tried to find t-shirts that I thought were great images. We were lucky enough to get Lucasfilms to agree to letting us use the Star Wars t-shirt on Graham. We got a great image from Dan Clowes, 8-Ball, and we transformed that image into a t-shirt. And for Nick, the Ming the Merciless t-shirt.
Ming the Merciless t-shirt, vintage, old, tight.
That t-shirt was kind of the bane of my whole crew's existence because it's a long story, but for probably, 6 weeks, we really only had one hero t-shirt for the Ming the Merciless t-shirt. And we are very lucky that Nick Frost is not a sweater or a stinker. But yeah, we kind of had one t-shirt for a long time. It was actually written that Paul would wear shorts and flip-flops. And we actually went through quite a few shorts before we found the right ones for him. You know, Paul is a small boy's size, and so it was just finding the right combination that looked lived in and, you know, like a pot-smoking alien would wear. We got the little cowboy outfit together where he's disguised on the main street, figuring that they would just like pile on the accessories. Like the more stuff they piled on, the more invisible he would be. Ruth, you know, she's kind of a quirky girl. And even though she's conservative, we didn't want to make her all buttoned up and cliche. And I thought maybe she'd get some things at the thrift store. Maybe she's made her skirt. When the boys meet her, she's wearing a t-shirt that says, "Evolve this," and it's Jesus shooting Darwin in the head. It's very extreme, if you ask me. I think she ends up realizing that everything she's thought all these years is not true, and thus cannot wear this shirt anymore. So she ends up turning it inside out and wearing it that way. She then gets into being a little more sexy and a little more foul with her language, and she cuts it and she rolls up the sleeves, so you know, it's a little more revealing, a little more skin, but just a little bit. Moses, I think, definitely has had the same clothes for quite a while, and it's very conservative and doesn't offend anybody, and he's a working man. Originally, I think everybody expected all the guys to be in black suits with white shirts and kind of Men in Black look. I never felt that that was right for Haggard or O'Reilly. I mean, obviously Zoyle is the slick city guy. Haggard and O'Reilly, I thought, were wannabes. You know, Haggard's kind of the lead man and O'Reilly's the goofball, and I felt like that should show in their color choices. Blythe Danner plays Tara. We wanted her to look like a smart lady that just is not concerned as much anymore. You know, we just gave her a little cardigan, and I thought she should be wearing slippers because she doesn't get out of the house very much. Sigourney was a dream to dress. She was really enthusiastic and really thinking about her actions and what she needed to do to be in the costume. In the script, she's coming from a ball or a dance. She had this big gun, and we went through this whole process of finding a purse that was big enough for the gun, and then we nixed that on the day, basically, or the day before. I kind of have been influenced by Santa Fe for Adam Shadowchild. I feel like I've been seeing these, like, well-dressed retired men, but it's very casual, and you can tell their clothes are very expensive, but lived in. What I'd like to give him is a little neckerchief. Little flair for the Shadow Child. He seems a little pretentious. Comic-Con is I'm excited about. We've actually been doing fittings for Comic-Con today. We're really lucky in that we got a lot of extras coming in their own costumes, which I find so much more authentic because they're made with love and passion, and they're all very individual.
My name is like Super Jack, and I have all these flaming, fiery powers. And his secret identity he wants no one to know. not even his parents know. So it's like, this is his secret identity.
I don't need to design every costume that's on screen. I would rather have people wear what they love.
I chose Princess Leia because it's unique for a guy, I think. And I made it duct tape chains, a scarf, hair, and a very shitty sewing job.
We've also fit quite a few people in costumes, and then a lot of other people are just coming, you know, as they are, regular dressed. But we will have to look at each and every one of them to make sure that they're not wearing something that we can't use on screen. And we have probably over 400 people coming.
These are trained professionals. We don't just find these kids off the street.
It's been a real joy, and working with Greg and Simon and Nick, it's been a great experience here in Santa Fe.
What's going on here?
We are just about to blow Tara's house to smithereens, I think. I think that's the term that they've been using, smithereens. I think there's like a two-stage thing going on. The ground floor will open and then the top will go off. But I think it will be done in a microsecond. I've got for today. Let's come back. Let's start fresh in the morning.
Let's do what the noise will sound like. What do you think it's going to be? Interesting. Kristen? Good one. Nick. Nice. Joe? Ooh, that's lovely.
Wow.
That air sucking in. John?
What's the sound of it?
The sound of the explosion. Beautiful. Classic.
Nice.
Jason?
Thank you.
I'm going to go
Ooh, the old dwa.
Or it might be kind of like a...
Well, hopefully it'll be like this.
Or it'll be like, yes! Bang!
Next one.
Forgot the dynamite.
I forgot the dynamite.
Did you believe it?
No! We gotta see the explosion. Can you make that happen?
I'll go tell them. I'll go tell them. I'll be right back. I'll go.
Joe's
Let me do it. I'll do it. Great.
Get in position to do it right now. Whoa, here we go.
Oh, I can't.
Protection on. Everybody. Just be aware.
Okay, who's ever Crown Victoria that is, should move it.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Stand by.
Simon, where's Minnie?
What? Minnie was in the house! We were shooting there and now it's gone.
We were in there, sitting in there chatting.
We were sitting there.
What an amazing explosion. It's the biggest thing I've ever blown up. It was great.
Hi, today we're speaking with Jason Bateman, who's playing the part of Lorenzo Zoil. Jason, tell us your thoughts on Greg Mottola. Well, Greg has taken our relationship to a new level. He's given me third, fourth, fifth date level direction on this because this is a big time movie, and there's time to really get in there and find out what we're all about. Not just what's my favorite color, what's my favorite music kind of date questions, but you know, what is Lorenzo Zoil thinking? Could I get a lockup on that?
Greg Mottola is directing this film, whose first film I saw, I remember going to see it at the theatre way back, Day Trippers. I knew obviously of Greg's work on that and on Arrested Development. And when Superbad came out, we had it screened for us in London, and with a view to, because we knew Edgar was going to be going off to do something else. This whole thing was a kind of chance for us to just go off and do different things before we come back together, and so we knew we wouldn't be working with Edgar as a director. So we watched Superbad and we just loved the way that he'd shot it.
It's amazing to watch a director change his style to support the material. Superbad was one thing, and then Adventureland was kind of a different thing. Now this movie is like you know, a Steven Spielberg movie. It's like an early Spielberg movie.
What's great about this movie for Greg is that he is being very ambitious. It's very ambitious for a comedy. He's just moving the camera all over the place.
A lot of comedies are just very brightly lit. They just point the cameras at the actors and think that that's enough, you know, just for funny things to happen in front of the camera. There sometimes seems to be little thought for the fact that the camera itself can be part of the comedy or, you know, part of the makeup of the movie. So Greg seemed to have that very much in his style.
The way Greg is shooting the movie is really reminiscent of those great sci-fi pictures. So there's a lot of tie-in shots. There's a lot of ways in which the camera is telling the story.
I think some directors might get pissed off with me and Simon butting in every 5 minutes saying, oh, how about we do this? But, you know, Greg is very chilled about it.
I've always said he has that really good combination of directing you and letting you do kind of what you want in a scene. What if I punch him in the penis? Like, what if I go, what if I'm like, and I go.
Like, will you come back?
That's so awkward. He's an actor's director for sure.
We'll be on a rig going like 50 miles per hour down the, you know, a dirt road, and I'm shooting blanks out the window, and I'm still getting Greg going, hey, what if you said a line like, you know what I mean? Greg just, oh, thank you. Greg just really screwed me up. Oh, thanks. And now I don't know what I'm a vampire is what Greg just told me. Hagrid's a vampire. Well, then why would he be outside in there?
Fuck! If you do something that's really doesn't work, it's fine, but I'm kind of like, okay, so we got that, and how about this? And which is great. He's very open to like ideas.
Count of 40. No, 45. I'll give you 45.
45 things it. But look, we can go to 50.
It's really great to see that he likes actors and he wants to be collaborative with actors. With this film, it's so technically complicated that you could lose sight of that, but he never really does. He's an extraordinarily calm man. I mean, I don't know how that happens, frankly.
He's always just sort of Greg, even keel, which I think sets a tone for the whole production, I find.
That was good. Yeah, it was a good one.
Greg really takes a lot of care to set his shots and make them have a certain particular feel. I don't know. I'm not a director. I can't really I like the guy. How about this? Greg Mitchell, I like him. That'd be an easier way to do it. Tell me about Greg. I like him.
I like the camo turtle.
One time Greg said to me on a day, he said, it's really good there's nobody serious on this show. And he meant it. It really is good.
It's been wonderful seeing him have so much fun, and you know, I sort of trot up to the monitor and see what he's doing and think, yeah, that's it. That's what we want. I couldn't have done it myself, but somehow you knew, and you know, he's very good at interpreting the script, and he has thoughts and ideas which are always really valuable. So it's been wonderful. I hope we work together again.
Look at this. Look at the expanse. This is New Mexico. They're calling it Mexico Zero, by the way. Mexico Zero, sorry. As per our blog.
New Mexico is truly the land of enchantment. It's a gorgeous state.
It's not great here. It's really cold, or it's really hot. It's really dusty, or it's really windy, or there's biting, stinging things.
Oh God, I love it here. I'd never been to Santa Fe. I'd done one film years ago in Las Cruces, but this place is just a dream.
It's unbelievably beautiful. It's a crazy place to shoot. Love it. We should all move here.
When we did our research trip for the movie, early 2007, I think, we drove from Los Angeles to Vegas.
Through Nevada up to Area 51, and then we traveled through northern Nevada, across into Utah, across through Salt Lake City, over the mountains into Wyoming, and then headed to northeast Wyoming, to Devil's Tower.
Because that is the journey that Graham and Clive make, albeit from San Diego rather than Los Angeles.
And this movie is so location-oriented and driven. They wanted Nevada, Utah, and Wyoming, and so I researched the looks of all those states and that road that we go down. I let them know that we could find all the places they were looking for in New Mexico. Everything could base out of Santa Fe, but everything's been, you know, out and about.
It's amazing. Sometimes we'll be somewhere and it'll look like, you know, farming, agricultural Wyoming, and other times we'll be somewhere and it'll look like, you know, rocky Arizona. It's a versatile landscape.
Well, Vasquez Rocks, you know, I've filmed there. It's outside of Los Angeles, and it's very iconic because it's at a fault line, and the way the rocks were pushed up were from an earthquake however many millions of years ago. And I found a place out by Chimayo that you could feel as if you were close to those. It was down at the bottom of a dry riverbed that we hope stayed dry. And we filmed that scene there with the rock, and the guys were great.
Now. And run.
There's a spider migration happens end of July and August, where kind of hundreds of tarantulas head north. Never heard of anything like that before, and it's
right through here.
Right through here, heading north. Why? Where are they going?
Vegas, baby. Vegas.
From there, the guys visit the famous black mailbox. We needed to recreate this location here in New Mexico, so we found a deserted highway that felt like the barren hills and desert of central Nevada. This is what it looks like. And we've recreated it. Here's the gas station scene where they almost bump into a state trooper.
There was actually a homicide in Albuquerque. We were shooting a scene, actually Haggard and O'Reilly's introductory scene, and there had been a tragic homicide a few weeks before, and one of the suspects hadn't been caught.
There was a helicopter above us looking for a homicide offender, so we have a sound issue.
We found out as we were shooting, a few SWAT guys run into like our craft services, like with machine guns, and it turned out that they had the last suspect surrounded by the RV park that was literally right next to base camp.
There's police officers with guns that are going toward that. They're coming through our base camp right now. Really? Yeah. Yeah, with M4s and M16s. Yeah. It's the real deal. Marty's with the officers right now. If they need us to take further precautions, they will let us know. Okay. So we're fine. All right, here we go.
It was very exciting. And so Bill and I are in our FBI jackets with our guns and our badges, and we're just praying that we didn't run into someone we weren't supposed to run into. We're not the guys that you're supposed to be afraid of. Don't shoot. Fake. Light. Very light, this gun.
So while I was watching Scarface in my trailer, Scarface was actually happening next door.
Potentially. Yes.
That's horrible.
It is horrible. In Utah, they come to the Pearly Gates RV park.
When I read the Pearly Gates RV, I went to that place almost immediately. It had the feeling of where Moses would have a place, and that they could do something. It had a plainness to it, but also a cleanliness to it. I felt it from the beginning, and a couple times they were going in another direction. I'd say, like, reconsider this. And they finally came to it and said, yeah, that's the place.
We purchased a mobile home and we gutted it and basically redesigned it. Needless to say, we explored images of evangelical life, you know, to emphasize Moses' fundamentalist belief.
You know, when you walk in on set and you see a sign that says Bible, Bates, and Sundry, and your character owns it, you get a pretty good idea who the guy is.
And action!
Another location that we shot at was Madrid. Just a great look to it. The big bar brawl scene happened there.
Well, when I first knew Madrid in 1971, there was 3 people living there, and it was an old ghost town, mining town, and the town was for sale for like $500,000 or something. And slowly some hippies started moving into it, and then over the decades it's been built into this little sort of tourist community with lots of shops, and there's a great bar there, the Mine Shaft. I showed him a number of bars, but that was the best. It worked out great. The people in the bar were excellent.
Go!
The next big stop is a great town called Las Vegas. It has a wonderful feeling of a Western small town with a nice main street, old architecture.
It's different than other New Mexico towns. It's an old railroad town. So there was a lot of people from the Midwest and the East Coast that came, so there's a lot of architecture and houses that resemble another part of the country rather than the adobes and the kind of plazas around New Mexico towns.
Fuck!
I'm sorry. I thought I was going to pass out.
There's a long history of filming in that town. On No Country for Old Men, we did a couple things where Sugar blows up the drugstore as a distraction. That's in Las Vegas.
I pointed out to you the fire station that's in Easy Rider, correct?
Yeah.
What? There's a scene in Easy Rider where they were driving through a town and there's a parade and they get arrested for driving through it. Yeah. That's this town.
Wow.
And they go run into jail with Nicholson, and when they come out of the jail, it's that building that says Tito's on it.
Yeah.
And next to it, they have a scene right in front of the little fire station that's right next to it.
Wow.
Whoa.
It's really cool.
This is movie history we're in.
Also, you know what was shot here? Red Dawn.
Wow, yeah,
Yeah.
It was the right look for the movie. It was the only look that's in proximity to Santa Fe, too.
Hi, we're on the set of the windiest place on earth. We love working here, mainly because you just can't hear much, but you just feel it, you know, you feel the land. Check out that windmill. I think that says it all.
If you go a little bit further east of the town of Las Vegas, New Mexico, it's sort of where the Great Plains begin, and so it just turns into a big fields of grass, and it feels like a completely different place.
For Tara's farmhouse, Greg wanted a big sweeping look, so I knew that was over around Las Vegas, so we ended up shooting on Ruby Ranch.
Being from the East Coast, and even though I've lived in Los Angeles too, I've never been in a place where they're just plains and then there's sky.
This is a very nice matte painting. They're really far back, too.
It's a really beautiful, beautiful piece of property. It's a hike to get there. It was not exactly conveniently located, but it was worth the trip, I think, because it's such a big moment in the movie.
She fell with my dad!
Can you tell me what's going on over there?
Well, we've had to break because there's a massive lightning storm coming.
You can see it. It's going to reach us soon. It looks pretty major.
Coming down in big pieces, too.
Look at that. Wow, look at that.
Heavy drop.
So heavy. God,
Nature here is run amok.
The size of water balls.
Yeah, the weather here. The whole reason we wrote this movie was because we were making Shaun of the Dead way back. And Naira Park, our producer, said to us, what's next? Let's go do something somewhere hot where the weather's kind of constant. And we came up with this idea, really off the cuff, kind of like, oh, okay, it's like an alien, and then there's two guys, and they help him escape, and it's all set in the desert, so it's always going to be sunny.
Let's go back.
Yeah.
Let's play some cricket. Heads up, guys. Watch yourselves here. Watch yourselves.
Hail! Tornadoes! Take cover, everybody!
Ironically, we've come to one of the most changeable places in the world, I guess. It'll be like blazing sunshine here, and then 20 minutes later there will be hailstones the size of golf balls.
Take cover.
Please, welcome. Please.
Usually the middle of July is the beginning of what they call monsoon season, which is kind of a joke, but it's when the rainy season started. It started earlier this year. And so what you have in New Mexico is what they call walking rain. And you can see the patterns of storms coming towards you because you can see such distances here.
Look at that, beautiful. That bubbling sky.
It might miss you by a couple of miles or 10 miles, and it might land on you. You know, in Taos, we got slammed by some rain. I mean, it was sleet, and we had to get equipment to pull the trucks out. And you never know, and that was the biggest storm that they'd seen in years there.
Yeah, we've had some doozies. Every day you start off and it's beautiful clear blue sky, and it kind of lulls you into feeling happy, and then suddenly, you know, you can see on the horizon these crazy storm clouds brewing.
Hello? It was just going that way.
I know. That's where the wind's blowing.
So there have been a number of times that we've been shut down, matching issues, and the sun is in and out and gone, and storms.
Hold on, 1 second, Jonathan. 1 second. Here we go, 1 second.
Larry Sher, our DP, lights things so beautifully you'd never guess what the sun was doing if you couldn't see it.
All right, here we go, ready? Here we go, ready? Thank you. 16.
It's been all right, but yeah, at times we've had to take cover due to lightning storms, and there's a device on set to ensure we are a safe distance away from electrical storms.
We're in prime lightning location right here. We could be struck at any second.
The lightning comes with the storms, and it depends. You can see it from a long distance, or it'll land, you know, right on top of you. It's amazing, the lightning, the long strands, and you can see it from such a distance also. I heard of a lightning strike up on the mountain that was right next to two guys that were underneath a spaceship. And the lightning hit and the thunder happened immediately, you know, and you don't know. Lightning is a strange force.
are at the Santa Fe ski basin. Almost 12,000 feet and quite short of breath, and it gets very cold. It can be 94 in the day, and then you come up here to shoot and it gets to like 40 degrees and it's freezing, hence the backwards coat. Why is my coat on normally? I'll show you. There's a sword on my back.
To find a place that had a clearing with pine trees and spruce that looked like it was in the mountains, that could also handle the cranes, the lighting, building the spaceship with all the crew cars, etc., and catering in a place that could hold it and be comfortable for 8 nights, you know, which was a challenge. The one interesting thing, it was in the middle of the summer and we used heaters, so that's unusual.
This was the parking lot as of 2 days ago.
And
now look.
Now it's a grass
lot.
Carpet.
What's that thing over there?
That's a giant light they're going to put over this whole thing. That's going to swing around.
What if we attract real UFOs?
Or gigantic bugs, like gigantic moths.
Oh, you're right, actually.
Like Mothra.
Or the Mothman.
Or the Moth. Or Captain Moth. Earlier this evening, I was kind of minding my own business and a moth flew in my mouth. And I almost gagged. I did gag. I didn't almost gag. I gagged. I coughed. And immediately needed to drink water. And he didn't come out. So I think they have protein, though, so we should be okay. It's pretty tasty.
Is the Steadicam back here to see his hand out, and then we would see Paul jumping into his arms. CGI. It's okay. Can't hurt him. One more for luck. Yeah. Watch your back. All right. Jump! Oh.
There we go. Nice.
Grab my ass.
We didn't really think about what we couldn't do. There's no point censoring yourself during the writing process because you think, oh, they'll never be able to do that. They'll never be able to make him jump on a moving RV or whatever. You know, you just write it.
When you're creating a character like Paul, you have to start with so many different elements working together. Not only does the special effects department and the visual effects department have to work smoothly, they have puppets and puppeteers working with the same kind of, it all has to be blended in, and Greg has to know exactly what frames he needs.
Start up like this, you and me are looking at Nick. On action, we turn to look at the green screen.
Now we trade.
It's a different movie, anything that I've ever done, just with the visual effects and the UFOs and CGI, green, talking to nothing.
Hurry up, my crabs!
It asks you to be a kid again, you know, to imagine like you did when you were, 8 years old. Let's pretend that this is happening.
The character of Paul is a tricky character because he's CGI and yet needs to have the same, you need to have the same empathy and compassion for it as you would an actual human being. So there's quite a number of people that make that happen. Of course, the first is Seth Rogan, who is Paul and had the whole mocap suit.
Combobulate. Combobulation.
We talked about initially having perhaps Rip Torn play Paul, you know, we wanted him to be much older and much grumpier.
When Seth's name came up, it just seemed kind of cool, because Seth's got a lot of youth and vitality, which Paul has, but he also has this kind of gravelly voice, which is nice. And also, obviously, he's incredibly funny and a great guy. And the idea of having him play Paul seemed really right.
It's a miracle. What a mess these. Why would you do that? I'm not gonna eat a dead bird.
He's providing the character to Paul, so we're trying to base as much as we can his movements, his mannerisms, we're bringing that in. So he'll have his voice, but also just the way he holds, the way he poses, the way he holds his hand, the way he holds his head, his interpretation of it. Now, it won't be exactly perfect because obviously he didn't do that in the physical environment, so we have to modify it to some degree.
And action.
We got company.
Can't this thing go any faster?
He's trying to overtake us.
Don't let him get past!
Should I ram him?
Fuck the deposit!
This is what you sign up for. You get used to it. The spandex, oddly, yes, you get used to. I will say, this thing, you do get used to it ultimately, but it's a little It's weird. What it is like it's weird on your neck because it gives your head more momentum every direction you look.
Seth's got a lot going on, and he wouldn't be able to just be on set just to do the line readings, which meant we'd have to probably hire an actor to just come and do the line readings, which would be quite a thankless task, and it would be difficult to get an actor of a high caliber to just do that. Fortunately, we have Joe Latrulio, who is obviously playing O'Reilly in the part. He has a big legitimate part in the movie anyway. Wonderfully agreed to play Paul on set. So when we do our scenes with Paul, Joe does the line readings. He wears knee pads, kneels down. He's about the right height for Paul when he's kneeling down.
Cast Joe, because on his knees is exactly the same height. He's exactly the right height. It was nothing to do with his superior comic talent.
I'm trying to combine like Seth's stuff with anything I can give Simon and Nick for a reaction to talking to something that's not there.
It's a miracle. Oh! Why would you do that?
I can eat a dead bird.
Oh, God.
What I'll do is imagine that I come from a galaxy far, far away. I'll pretend my head is bigger, and I'll pretend that I have very large black eyes.
Particularly for comedy, it's all about being able to react off someone else. We had to have a brilliant comic performer who they could act with. He's just absolutely perfect for it.
Okay!
Give me some Reese's Pieces.
It was too much. I pushed it, right? Yeah. I was pushing it too much. You're really good at the very subtle. There's a way that you embrace the stillness. It's amazing to me. I still can't get it. It's amazing.
Joe is absolutely indispensable because he enables us to interact with something there. This is all it's going to be a complicated puzzle to put together afterwards, but he's just been invaluable.
And action!
Christoph is our sort of Paul-sized stand-in who's able to provide us, the cameraman in particular, with a good representation of how Paul would move, how fast he would move, where he would go, what his eye line would be within that space.
I got a phone call out of the blue one day and they said, we like the way you look and the way you're built and we can use you on a film. And so I said, okay, I need summer work. On a typical day, I have no idea what I'm going to be doing. Sometimes they put me in a green or a blue suit, and that's used to paint me out of a scene.
Action, Christoph.
Christoph is Paul's double, so if there's any complex choreography, we work that out with the actors, and indeed work out the camera moves that we need, or would need if Paul was really there.
Action. Bang!
Christoph, you look brilliant.
Great. Did you see it, Christoph?
Keep coming.
To play for you, it's really funny.
We decided to change a little joke at the end to kill two birds with one stone. One, that it was funny, but also that it gave Christoph a line, which means that he can join SAG now, because that's what it requires, apparently.
Dude, what?
He's just screaming.
That's such a weird reaction to someone slapping you on the butt. Dude,
What?
What?
But it's
Oh
like
my
it's
God.
a real aggro what? It's like
I know.
Next, please.
There he is. Back.
Feel like it's there. Can you see okay?
My son Tanner is 6 years old, and they had discussed at the beginning of the film a potential need for a Paul kind of stunt double, a body double, I guess.
Daddy, who am I supposed to hug?
Huh?
Who am I supposed to hug?
Everybody.
Tanner came in and was the perfect, absolute perfect size, like down to the ½ inch. He's game for stuff like that. He wants to be a stunt man and a lizard hunter and an author.
Hey, buddy, I'm Jason. I'm gonna be your horse, okay? You're gonna be riding me, all right?
Is that gonna be okay?
I'm a fast horse, too.
They basically have a scene where Jason Bateman, playing Zoil, leaves Tara's house, and Paul ends up jumping on his back when he leaves. And they wanted Tanner in a green screen suit to jump on Jason to see where his body would affect Jason's wardrobe. Then Jason spins around on the porch with him and swings him all over the place.
What the? Tanner. Okay, one more time. It's okay. It's okay. We're getting closer. Action! What the? What? Hey! No! Oh! Oh!
Nicely done. Tanner, ladies and gentlemen.
He was loving it. The smile on his face was huge. It was great. Good job.
Hey, don't tickling butts.
It was a good test for me to see what he's willing to do, you know, see what I can use him for. And he was great. He loved it. And then he got to go to the store later and buy some Transformers.
You're going to be warm. We've got this ready?
Let him go. He's just going to go. Ah! That was perfect, buddy. You ready for him, Jonathan?
Where we go? This is the curtain call.
Okay.
Who's the alien now? Who's the alien? Who's the alien now? Who's the alien? Who's the alien now? Who's the alien? Who's the alien now?
This is the
Terrible. We're doing
Oh, your other
curtain
things
call
all
for
been
Fall
really
the
smart,
Musical.
but it's not.
Who's the alien? Who's the alien? Who's the alien? It's like, one song is like, Haggard, yes. Officer O'Reilly, what? I think I'm in a right here. I think I'm in a desert. I think you're right. Where are we? I don't know. Just like spotlights going off on us. Hey Haggard, I think I see the alien. Hey O'Reilly, I think you're looking at me. I think I'm looking at you. I think you're looking at me.
Do you boys want anything else to eat?
Yeah, I'd like a cup of Joe, please. I'm on the trail of an alien.
You and everybody else around these pots.
I think they're inside that house.
I know they're coming. What are we gonna do?
Why am I never part of the action? Now it's our time to be a part of the action. We're gonna be a part of the action.
I'm so scared.
It's time for my promotion. Oh no! Tear gas! Tear gas. And that's why, what's Zoil doing here? Oh no, now we seen Jimmy the alien. No! What was it? Give me the alien now!
What's happening? Why are you all covered in ashes?
Wait a minute. I think that's bird shit. It's bird shit!
Oh my god, is it really?
It's bird shit!
Is it bird shit?
No.
What is it?
They hit some lotion.
Oh, it's cocoa butter.
It's cocoa butter. See? Smell. Cocoa butter.
The alien now.
Go a little higher, Sean.
These are 2x6.
Can you arm in so it's more straight overhead? Keep doing that. Oh, I need to. Careful. Tilt down. Yeah.
And action. Mouth to mouth.
Well, here we are on stage, and it feels quite weird. This is the third of our 3 RVs. We've got a Hero RV, which is drivable and pretty cool. We've got a Stunt RV, which is basically just a shell and the exterior. And we've got this RV, which we've cut to pieces, really, and put it on a gimbal so the whole thing can move and rock. I'd be really gutted if that fell off and then we couldn't shoot for 3 weeks. Here it is. So this will be the film, this will be the RV that we shoot all the interiors in. I think it's cut away and pieces can come out so we can get cameras into every possible angle. It's not my servos, it's one of the machines outside. And as you can see, the green screen all around, and the green UVs mean that we can just drop in any kind of backdrop and any kind of geographical feature or location, you know, afterwards. It's movie magic. So they put the whole thing on like a hydraulic rocker, because obviously we can't drive it around in the studio. So it's on this, I think the correct term is a gimbal. It's on a hydraulic gimbal, and there's this arm here. Let's go and do it. If you see the RV, it really rocks, which is weird. You know, Hollywood, it would have been something fancy, but no, it's just a big man on a lever while the RV's on a bed of air. But it's very sickening, really. I think Kristen and I today both had to take anti-seasickness medicine because it was...
Is Brad in there?
It's horrible. Can I just say, these are things that you never think about when you shoot a film. So these have been in this mesh bag for 10 weeks and I haven't even looked at them. 2 sporks. 2 sporks. I've looked at them and they are Starfleet Academy Star Trek sporks.
And these, this gorilla pod is very similar to my own.
But let's move to the front. But that's what I mean about the level of, attention to detail. Things that no one will ever see at all, but they are done. Do you want to have a look in the loo? It's not a working toilet. You can't do a doo-doo in it.
As Nick found out to his own detriment.
Sorry.
Sorry.
So here we are in the galley area, where Clive and Graham would cook their pitiful meals for one.
The galley area, so it's like a Greek restaurant.
And
this is a explosive charge. Every day on the set we load a charge somewhere and we blow it up for a joke in someone's trailer, or I don't know where it is today, but we just arm it. No! Just gone off somewhere, I don't know who. Maybe Blythe. She's just left today, so we probably put some in there.
I don't know if you can probably hear that noise, but because we're on a set and it is, I'm going to use a swear word, fucking hot in this RV, what they've done is they've got massive air conditioning units and plugged them into the skylights of the RV. So in between takes they turn them on, there's 2 of them, and it kind of chills it down quite a lot, right?
It does.
You're rolling your fucking eyes
I was sharing a look with Jonathan about something. This is a small model of our first AD's head, which we keep here for good luck. See, there's the big one, little one here.
Yes, this is attention to detail.
This is J-Dubs or Jubs, and this is mini J-Dub here.
Yeah. The crown, the salt and pepper prince, and salt and pepper enfant terrible. But there it is, movie magic at work. Goodbye.